The death toll is catastrophic. We must bow to their wishes. You must contact me.
It's a trick. Send no reply. Send no transmissions of any kind.
It sounds like bait to establish a connection trace.
What if it is true? And the people are dying?
Either way, we're running out of time.
Welcome to the Wampa's Lair podcast. Deep in the bowels of the frozen ice caverns of Hoth, our hosts, Carl Leclerc, Jason Hunt, and Katie Horn, discuss all things Star Wars. So join the conversation and hang out here in the Wampa's Lair.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Wampa's Lair podcast. This is episode number 321. You must contact me. I'm, as always, one of your hosts, Jason Hunt, and with me, the Captain Panaka and Handmaiden Sabay. To my Senator Palpatine, we have Carl Leclerc and Katie Horn.
Red group, blue group, everybody away!
Your occupation here has ended.
After her, this one's a decoy.
After her, this one's a decoy.
I love it. I'm Keira Knightley. Yes.
Oh my goodness! I just love being Captain Panaka. Quarish Panaka. He's got the most interesting first name. But then again, we've got his last name. The actor's last name is Quarshi. So okay,
I didn't know that. That's great.
So
Hugh Quarshi, I think.
We've got Quarsh Panaka, Sheev Palpatine, and let's not forget Firmus Piet.
I knew to say Firmus. I knew it. I was like, here it comes. Here comes the Firmus.
Oh my goodness, my friends! I am so glad to be back with this episode with you guys because we are going to just respond to so many fun questions that the Larians have asked. They have the most inquisitive, fun, and exciting minds, and I'm so excited to dive into all their questions in this week's episode.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. It's been a while since we've done this, and I love doing these episodes because it means I don't have to make my own notes.
Yeah, it's like you guys do the work. We'll just answer them.
We'll show up and pretend like we know what we're talking about.
I am remarkably good at pretending I know what I'm talking about.
Well, Katie, I'm so glad because this is the first time we've done one of these with you since you've been a regular member of the show. So I'm so glad because it basically means all the questions we can't answer well, you will be able to because you're smarter than us. Thank you.
Talking to Resistance heroes is my forte.
Jason and I will be laying here stunned. So.
Yeah, exactly. I can't feel my teeth.
But my friends, before we hop into all the questions, I just really quickly wanted to just give a really quick shout out to the novel Queen's Shadow by E.K. Johnston. So I was lucky enough to get my friend Greg was able to secure an advanced review copy of Queen's Shadow, and once he finished it, he passed it off to my friend Ben. I was second on the list. So once my friend Ben finished it, I got it next, and I'm about a quarter of the way into it. And guys, I am so in love with this book. And it's blowing my mind because I'll be completely honest. Like when they announced it, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I mainly loved it because two reasons. One, I love E.K. Johnston, what she did with Ahsoka. It's my favorite of the new canon novels. But secondly, I was like, okay, it's really cool that like Padme specifically is getting some love. I love that we're getting prequel love in the new canon. But Padme has never been high on my list of favorite characters. I will tell you, this book is quickly changing that. It's so good. The first chapter, I had tears in my eyes reading it. Katie, this will break you. I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh, no.
This book is going to break you.
I'm sure it will. Oh, no.
But in all the right ways.
Just the cover alone is enough to just break me. I just, I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and then I look at that cover, and then I just cry myself back to sleep.
And I don't want to, again, like I'm only a quarter of the way in, but I don't want to give any sort of spoilers, but I will say this. I watched Phantom Menace tonight. It already made me love the movie even more than I already do. Secondly,
Nice.
we learned so much about the handmaidens.
Good.
Which is really, really wonderful. But more than anything, like it is definitely a bit of a political story.
I mean, it's Padme.
Right,
It's
yeah.
Padme.
but it's not, for those of you who are like, oh, I don't want politics in Star Wars, it's not that kind of story, in my opinion. Like, it's just a really good story about what it means to be good, right? Star Wars is about good characters, right? Like good people. Like that's who our heroes are. And Padme is in the realm of politics. She's a good politician, and her politics are in a way very simple, but they're so profoundly beautiful. And I am just loving this book, and I'm loving what we learn about Padme, the handmaidens, and Panaka. So it's already off to a great start, and the novel picks up about 4 years after Phantom Menace. So I'll give. I mean, you learn that very quickly in the book, so I'm not giving anything away. But that gives you a sense of the timeline. So it's 4 years after Phantom Menace. And it, of course, deals with something that's brought up in Attack of the Clones, where she mentions how they tried to amend the Constitution. That you learn about that pretty quickly in the novel, too, about how they try to keep Padme in office. And reading her response is beautiful. It's just so good. So that's all I will say. Like, I can't wait to finish it. Both my friends Greg and Ben told me it just gets better. So I can't wait. I read it at night, and I get so excited every night to go to bed because I'm just like so pumped up to read this book. So,
That's so beautiful. I want to cry just hearing you talk about it.
it's
Jason.
so
I've been super excited about Master and Apprentice coming out, and now I'm like, I need to get this one too. So I'm like, my brain is already going, well, I know what March's Audible credit will be used for. So,
Yeah.
But yes, that makes me excited. I'm glad to hear that. So,
yeah, it's really good. So I can't wait till it's out. We've all read it, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, right? Oh my God.
yes.
Oh my God.
Can I give a quick plug before we start?
Yes, please.
All right, cool. I was on the latest episode of Clashing Sabers, where we got to do our top three, bottom three about Attack of the Clones, and I got to school some folks on Attack of the Clones.
Nice.
I
Nice.
kid somewhat, but Brandon, Drew, and Lindsay were so kind enough to have me on, and we had a great conversation, a great discussion, and a really fun time. So if you want to hear me wax eloquent about my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time, go check out the latest episode of Clashing Sabers, where we talk about Attack of the Clones, and it's awesome. So
I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Yeah, I was on with them as well, talking about the Phantom Menace, a month or two ago. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, they were a lot of fun to talk to, and I had this like similar experience where it's all like, I'm the person in the room who loves this movie the most.
I preambled everything by saying I'm probably one of like 3 people in the entire world who put Attack of the Clones in their top 3 Star Wars movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yes,
Nobody asks me to be on podcasts, but whatever.
well,
Oh, your favorite is The Empire Strikes Back?
Shocking.
Never met a Star Wars fan. I can, you know what? I walk outside sometimes and I'm like, how many people here love The Empire Strikes Back the most? I just wish I could find me a man who likes The Empire Strikes Back the most.
and all of a
Nate
sudden
kicks
there's a
in the
whole bunch
door
of gopher
and he
hills
goes,
that open up around you.
Just like the earth splitting open, just like.
Oh my goodness, that's
I
fine.
get it.
Between the show and doing my solo cast, I'm very content. But yeah. By the way, quick plug for that. Make sure you're checking out the solo cast if you like Solo: A Star Wars Story, because I love that movie. So
Yeah.
I had a
We're
great
big
time.
fans of it here.
Yeah.
We're all fans of it here, but no
Yeah.
one is a bigger fan of Solo on this podcast than Carl.
Damn right. Guys, let's well, actually, real quick, just a quick reminder before we settle into the questions. Hopefully you've been following along with the radio dramas. So of course tonight we'll get to episode 6 of the Empire Strikes Back radio drama, Way of the Jedi. Heads up, Yoda's a bit to handle. My only two quibbles with the radio dramas is Brock Peters as Darth Vader, but you do get. I will say I got used to it. He's not great, but I did get used to it. And I'm blanking on the name of the guy who does Yoda. But do you guys remember the show 30 Rock from the Sun?
Oh yeah.
Remember the dad character in it, like the oldest.
Oh.
It's that actor that does Yoda in the radio dramas.
Oh dang!
He's really
the same guy that was in Dexter.
I don't know. Is he in Dexter? I've never seen.
Oh,
Dexter.
You've never seen Dexter?
Yeah, I've never seen Dexter.
The dad character from Third Rock from the Sun was like a really good villain in Dexter. Like it was such a creepy good performance, and I'm like, hang on, that guy's Yoda. Like,
yeah. Let me look up his name really quick.
Wait, are we talking about Third Rock from the Sun or 30 Rock?
Oh yeah, I'm talking Third Rock. My bad. Yeah, totally different thing. Third Rock from the Sun.
We're talking about totally different thing.
Totally different thing. Sorry, not 30 Rock. What is that actor's name? Let's see. John Lithgow. It's John Lithgow.
Wait,
yeah.
that is John. That's who I'm thinking of.
Okay. Well,
wait, we're thinking about the same.
Third Rock from
now
the
we're
Sun.
all getting ourselves confused. John Lithgow's voicing Yoda in the radio drama.
That's all you need to know.
Much to handle at first.
Yes, I like John Lithgow. I think he's a great actor. Like everything I've seen him in, I love him. But he's just not good as Yoda, in my opinion. He's
so good in Dexter. Let's watch Dexter, you guys.
Okay. But yeah, so anyway, I shouldn't say that. I hate saying things like that because then if you haven't heard these episodes yet, I totally just tainted your perception. Again, I hope you enjoy it. Maybe you will love it. Again, you get used to it quick enough. I don't think he's very good. The thing I respect is he's obviously trying to be unique from Frank Oz, right? He doesn't want to just mimic. So I give him credit for that. But again, it's a bit different, to say the least. But you do get some really great expanded stuff, as you always do in these radio dramas. So stick around for episode 6 at the end of the episode if you've been following along. So, guys, do we want to get to these questions? We got quite a few. We probably won't get to all of them. So apologies for that, but we will certainly come back to the ones we miss. Can we hop into these? Because I have one I was going to ask right off the bat.
Do it. Yeah, go for it. Just take it, Carl.
All right.
Run.
All right. And all right. We're going to start with this question from Caitlin Ferguson. And Caitlin's been a wonderful Larian as of late with sending us some really great emails. So first off, thank you for that, Caitlin. But she asked this great question, and I feel like you understand Leia the best of the three of us, Katie, so I want you to maybe field it first. But she asks, in the original trilogy, why does Leia never get promoted to general? Han and Lando get that rank, and they hadn't been with the rebellion nearly as long as Leia. Was this because she chose not to assume a rank, or was it based on the attitude towards women in the military in the 1980s? What do you think, Katie? Why is Leia not a general until Force Awakens?
1000%. It's being influenced by the people making it. You know, I think she absolutely would have if that movie wasn't made in the 1980s. Which of course is why she's a general now. We're certainly a lot more aware these days. And just the idea that Lando and Han can just kind of blunder their way into the rebellion and automatically outrank Leia is certainly an outdated one. I really do think it's just the world that created this movie influenced it. We're all a product of our time, and this movie is a product of its time. As far as in universe reasons, maybe Leia was seen as more of a figurehead, than a military leader. I'm really not sure how to answer that question from an in the universe perspective.
Yeah,
well,
I don't know. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Jason?
I mean, in Empire Strikes Back on Hoth, she basically is a general. She's ordering everybody around, giving the mission briefing and all that stuff. But I do think she is considered one of the leaders of the rebellion, along the levels of a Mon Mothma. And so that kind of elevates her beyond military rankings in a way. So she still participates. But then, of course, since the Resistance is such a much smaller thing, she's playing many different roles. Not unlike what she did in the Rebellion, but it's less structured in the Resistance than in the Rebellion, I think. And so I think she's a figurehead. She's a politician. She's, a source of inspiration. She's a military leader. She's so many things in the original trilogy that putting the title general on her might have limited some of that.
It might have even seemed like a bit of a downgrade from princess. Princess sounds so, she's regal.
And especially when she's supposed to represent the hope of the rebellion to the galaxy at large, and you start calling her general, now she comes across as a military leader trying to take over. When she's like the face of the rebellion to the galaxy, you want someone who's inspirational, hopeful, and not coming at you with a blaster. You know?
Sure.
So even though she has a blaster tucked in her back pocket the whole time, but
yeah.
Well, what we have to realize, maybe you guys don't realize, but I'm very much aware, the word princess didn't really start to have a negative connotation until really the 90s. And that's when there was like a huge pushback against princess. It's like, wait, I'm more than a princess. Nobody wanted to be a princess in the 90s. It wasn't considered very feminist to be a princess. It's only been more recently that we've begun to gather that back, but you can see that influence in Star Wars. Again, Leia being called, a general now. Of course, she's earned it. Of course, she's a military leader, so I have no problems with her being called a general. But if you look at Star Wars: The Old Republic, Princess Valen is not called Princess Valen, even though both of her brothers are called, Prince. There's Prince Arkin and Prince Sexton. She is called High Justice Valen instead of Princess, because she's a villain and they want her to be cool, and they want her to be, they don't want you looking down on her because she's Princess Valen. No, like her brothers are still cool being princes, but she can't be a princess, So I really do think, it was a product of the times, and everything is. So
yeah,
one day, we'll be looking at General Leia and going, that doesn't really work in the modern era.
right.
Yeah.
One day, yeah.
And I also think, like, even just, I don't disagree with that at all, Katie, like that it is a product of its times. But I also think, even just looking at Rogue One, right, like Bail Organa, he's clearly not a military rank, but he's incredibly important to the Alliance Council.
Yes.
Leia's his daughter. She's an Imperial senator, right? Like, they kind of exist outside the military echelon, I think, in that early stage. So I just, like, even when she shows up on Yavin 4, right? Like, she's not greeted. She's greeted by the military superiors, and they see her basically as an equal. She just doesn't seem to be. Her role in the rebellion stage at that point is one of trying to infiltrate from the inside out. So she's not directly tied into the military feed. It's kind of how I see it as well. Again, like, just thinking canon-wise, again, to obviously talk around the obvious just social issue, but I think that even could make sense too, is, it's just, that wasn't her role initially, and whether, like, even though in a way, like, by the time we get to Empire, it seems like she's obviously very clearly a part of the military, and even even the outfit she's wearing on Echo Base, like, it seems to be a military uniform, right? Like, it even has an insignia slogan on it. I don't know what that is. If you're listening, you might, and feel free to tell us. But I still just think, like, her as Princess Leia, there is still something like there's a stateheadness to it, right? Even just thinking in our own political terms, right? Like, the president of the United States is the commander in chief, but we never refer to him as, like, admiral or general. But he's still commander in chief. So I don't know. Just great thought, Katie. Great question.
I'm Googling what her rank is. Hold on. Continue.
Well, who wants to do the second question? Should I just go since
go ahead.
Jason's Googling?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Jason's doing the Google.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up our question here from Andy Seiner, who is my very good friend on Twitter. Andy, very cool guy. He asked us which lightsider has had the deepest, most emotionally moving death for each of you on your first viewing. And I'm pretty sure he specifies lightsider because he doesn't want me to just go off about Darth Maul's death.
Oh, man.
I have my answer.
Go.
Right away.
Go ahead.
Kanan.
Oh, yeah.
I have not had a more emotional reaction to any death in Star Wars than Kanan.
Really? Wow.
I bawled my eyes out And it was ugly. It was ugly cry. It was. I have not had any visceral reaction like that anywhere else, even in like Rogue One or anything like that. But it was Kanan. For whatever reason, that hit me at the right time, at the right place, and I just ugly cried.
Yeah.
So yeah. Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus.
Saw that
Jedi
coming.
Knight.
Well, I had a quick answer to this as well, and I don't know if this is technically considered a light sider because he doesn't use the Force, but it's definitely Han Solo in Force Awakens. The first time I knew this months before seeing the movie that he was going to die. Like, I read the spoilers. And even before reading the spoilers, I was like, I bet you they kill him off in the movie. Like, Harrison wanted that 20 years ago. But watching it on screen, I've never cried that hard at something other than like a horrible life event in my life. Like, it's the hardest I've ever cried at something fictional in all of my life. And that first night watching the movie, I was there with the whole crowd from New York, like Joe Hogan and that group. And I was there with my, at the time, girlfriend. I was bawling so hard. And she was sweet as could be. I mean, she was just like, she had her arms around me. She's like, it's okay, Carl. I'm like, I know this is fake. But but I cried so hard. And I think it was for two reasons. And the biggest reason, which is reason number one, is he's my favorite character. And just seeing it happen just like broke my heart. And I don't have any other reason beyond that. It just broke my heart to see it happen. And I think even in the context of the story, I think anybody watching that movie, even if you didn't know right beforehand the spoiler, watching him walk out there, he's not coming away from this. He's not going to redeem Kylo in the first movie of a new trilogy. Han's not walking away from this. But to just see him so selflessly go out there. And actually, I had a really great exchange on Twitter with my friend Ben just yesterday, where he made, in light of my last little episode of SoloCast, I was talking about like the role of luck and how that's kind of like Han's spirituality. And my friend Ben made a really interesting point from Force Awakens when Han says, the longer we're here, the less luck we'll have, right? Like implying they need to get out of Starkiller Base or else they're going to run out of luck. Well, my comment back to Ben was like, yeah, that's a great point. And what's really cool is Han sets aside his faith in luck and puts his faith in his son. But sadly, that faith is misplaced. This isn't me hating on Kylo Ren. It's true in that moment. But for the first time, Han, not for the first time, I think he puts his faith in people a lot in the original trilogy. But he chooses to put his faith specifically now in his son. And sadly, his son's not there yet. So even from a story point, it's just really heartbreaking. So that was the one for me. Although, Jason, I'm with you. Kanan was a close second. But Katie, I'm really curious for you what it is for you.
Well, I promise I will give a real answer. But
Darth Maul.
you talking about how much Han's death impacted you. Twin Sons really did that for me when Darth Maul died in Rebels. It really did feel like a real person that I knew had passed. I felt it so deeply inside me. And then for the week after, just getting out of bed was hard. That's how intensely I felt that story. I felt Darth Maul going. It was rough. But so I've never felt anything close like that to a light side character because Darth Maul's my guy. But I got pretty gosh darn close for Jyn and Cassian at the end of Rogue One. That was my first viewing of that. Oof. That movie broke me. I was wheezing coming out of that theater. It was pretty disgusting. It was so beautiful the way they died, which is horrible to say. It's like, oh, you're dead, but it was beautiful. It was very emotional, very impactful. So yeah, that was the one for me. That was it was about a 10th as emotional as Darth Maul's death.
All right. Well, the ranking on Leia's is different than everybody else's. So, yeah, it's not the regular military rank, which probably identifies her as a member of the council or something like that.
Okay.
But yes,
All right, Jason, your turn. Get a question.
Oh, question. Let me see here. Let's go with first question from our buddy Sartaj, who sends in some really interesting questions. Says, one of my favorite moments from Revenge of the Sith is when Darth Sidious appears to a burnt Anakin over the ashy plains of Mustafar. Its inclusion has always fascinated me. Arguably, it's Sheev's most humanizing moment. Can we just call him Palpatine and leave out his first name? Thank you very much.
I love that he says Sheev. It's amazing. And notice, too, because he's asking that it's... this is how smart Sartaj is. The fact that he refers to him as Sheev and then immediately says humanizing, right?
Yes.
That's the human. It's not Sidious. It's not even Palpatine. It's Sheev.
Yep.
So Sartaj is so smart, even in his questions.
I'm not sure about that. Anyways, arguably it's Sheev's most humanizing moment as he looks over at Anakin like a father seeing a son who has been involved in a life-threatening accident. When Sidious bends down and touches Anakin's forehead, I interpret that as Sidious transferring some dark side energy to keep Anakin alive. What do you think at the moment, and how do you interpret it?
Yeah,
Who wants to go first?
I'm already talking, so I'm just going to keep going. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. No, I agree with Sartaj that I think that there is something being transferred here. It's also a great mirror of, like, literally, it's the same thing that we see Obi-Wan do to Luke in A New Hope, right? It's the same physical act of, like, putting that hand on the forehead. And I think you could almost ask the same question of, what is Obi-Wan doing to Luke there? It could just be he's checking his pulse, right? He's just checking to see if he's okay. But I think he's also putting some sort of healing over him. And I feel like that's what Sheev's doing here, too. I'm going with Sheev, Jason. Deal with it. So good old Sheev here. And it is, I find it really interesting that Sartaj chooses to say it's a humanizing moment. In the sense that, like, and I don't want to, like, belittle that. I think it's a great point. I don't know that there is any humanizing for Sheev, because at this point he's not a human. He's just a monster, I would say.
Yeah.
And even in this moment, so the reason I would say that it still isn't humanizing for him is because I feel like to him, this is him not bowing over, but crouching down over now what is his property, right? Like, Anakin is now his, and he's going to put some force energy into him to preserve his machine now, right? To preserve his Frankenstein monster, right? So I feel like it's not necessarily humanizing because it's not about some sense of empathy. It's more so of, I want to make sure that my monster's okay because I'm not done with him yet, right? Like my machinations for him are just beginning. So, but I do think he gives him some sort of force power there, right?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a very personal look at all. The way Palpatine looks at Anakin, I agree with you. Where it's like, oh, this is a possession. This is something that belongs to me, which is, like, so creepy. No person belongs to another person. Like, and I remember before our Revenge of the Sith episode last week, I was watching Revenge of the Sith and, like, messaging you guys, and I'm pretty sure the exact words I used was, Palpatine looks at burnt Anakin the way I look at a chip I just dropped on the floor, like, blowing on it. Like, that's still good. It's all right.
5-second rule.
10-second rule.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, the dear old Papa Palpatine has no sense of compassion
Go for Papa
or
Palpatine.
mercy. Yeah, go Papa Palpatine. I cannot talk today, apparently. There's no sense of compassion or empathy or feeling or mercy in this man whatsoever. It is all just what can he get from it? And this is him checking on his investment. He's invested a lot of time, money, energy, force potential into Anakin, and Anakin nearly blew it right out the gate. And so he's got to make sure he can still salvage his investment. This is all about salvaging what could have been, because he will never be up to the level that Palpatine wanted him to be ever again.
Yeah.
This is more like, well, I don't have anything else to use right now, so let's salvage this. And that's all that is. The touch looks tender, but it's more like, I guess I'm gonna have to do this. It's like, ew, Yeah.
And to me, it's
touch it.
and it's like
No,
it's. I would, Jason, that's a great way to put it. Like, because you're right. It almost looks tender, but it's just so not tender because it's more of like, haha, look what I have now. There's almost like you can almost like imagine that good old Sheev is like rejoicing on the inside because it's like, man, now he's really gonna be like my object, right? Like, he's just been.
There he is.
Yeah,
he's still alive.
Yeah,
Good.
like there's
He's mine.
there's like a celebration in it because remember what he says to Yoda like a little bit earlier in the film, like, Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us. Well, not anymore. So
Right, not anytime soon, anyways.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, no. This means Anakin is now fully under Palpatine's thumb, and yes, he's probably transferring some sort of dark side energy into Anakin to keep him alive until the medical team gets there.
Right.
But
the medical capsule.
But that is only because this is his investment. This is his property. This needs to last because he's, used up everyone else at this point.
Yeah. All right, my turn to ask a question. I got a really fun one. This comes from Brandon Boylan. He sent in a really fun question. This is such a Wampusler question, and I love it. So thank you, Brandon. He says, you're going camping. You can bring one droid, one character, and one non-vehicle device from Star Wars. Who and what do you take?
R2-D2, Jar Jar Binks, and a lightsaber.
Boom.
I had that ready to go. You were just all like, I got this.
I don't need to think about this.
I love it.
I mean, R2 because he's a Swiss Army knife, and is just awesome. Jar Jar because he's lived in the woodlands and the swamps of Naboo, so he's good on a camping trip. And I mean, who shouldn't have a lightsaber at their side at all times? So
nice. What about you, Katie?
I would bring L3, Poe Dameron, and a blaster.
Nice.
The blaster is for when things get hairy, because it's gonna get dicey out there. I bring L3 because I feel like she would have really good stories, and I bring Poe Dameron, so he can carry me. I'll be like Yoda riding on Luke's back. Just, let's go, Poe. Let's do it. He'll keep me warm at night. Oh, Poe.
Oh, Poe. Oh, Katie.
Love it.
Just me and L3 and Poe sitting around the campfire telling stories. I love it.
All right.
Carl's turn.
I would bring BB-8, Qui-Gon Jinn, and a scan grid. That's the torture rack.
Oh, to get out of there? To get out of the woods?
No, the torture rack from Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, is that what it? Oh,
yeah, it's called the scan grid. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't bring a scan grid. I would bring a back to tank.
What I was thinking of? I was thinking of macro binoculars. That's when you said scan grid. That's where my brain went.
That's the name of the torture rack and the Empire Strikes Back. It's the scan grid. No, I wouldn't bring that. I would so BB-8 because he's adorable, and I just think like he'd make me chuckle just because his beeps are so cute. Qui-Gon Jinn because he would mentor me on life. And I would love every second of it. And a back to tank, just because in case we get into any trouble, I can just hop in the back tank and be fine. So
I love it. Oh my gosh!
So what a fun question. Thank you, Brandon.
That was great.
All right, Katie.
I'm going to go with another fun one. I'm going to go with a question that comes to us from Nathan Horn.
Oh, good.
Beloved.
Oh, yeah.
The love and light of my life. He looked at me in the face and asked, who is the governor of Naboo at the start of The Phantom Menace?
Captain Tarples.
How dare you? How dare you? He loves to do this. I don't even remember how this joke started, but he really loves to pretend to not know who C.O. Bibble is. Like, he just, anytime C.O. Bibble come up, he's like, who? And I fall for it at least a third of the time. I'll be like, C.O. Bibble, oh, dang it, you knew that. You knew who that was. Now, Jason, I'm pretty sure you were going to actually at him, weren't you?
Yes, I am going to actually at Nathan. Technically, Seo Bibble is the governor of Theed, which is the capital of Naboo. So yes, I'm going to actually just slightly on Nathan there. But yes.
You hear that, Nate? You hear that? Memorize it this time.
The governor of Theed. So our only hope is for the Senate to side with us. Senator Palpatine will need your help.
Either choice presents great danger to us all.
We are brave, Your Highness.
You ought to leave, Your Highness. It must be now. Then I will plead our case to the Senate.
I couldn't remember. I was like, oh, it's my line. What is it? Dang.
All right,
Careful,
Can we just go with the fact that in that moment, too, one of the most badass things in Star Wars is when Panaka looks and he goes, there are too many of them. Won't be a problem. Like, no, don't worry. We got this.
That's totally fine.
And then even Obi-Wan, I'll handle this. Oh, snap.
No, we need to free those pilots. Just do it.
And he's like, starts to raise his gun. Obi-Wan just pushes it down. I'll handle that.
No, you'll be fine.
I got this. Oh, what a great moment. Go watch Phantom Menace, everyone, and then come back. You'll enjoy it more because it's just your life will be better.
Can we talk about how freaking shook Seo Bibble is to learn that the negotiations never took place?
I think that's his perpetual nature is one of being shook. Like his eyes are always so big, like your
loss of communication can mean only one thing. Invasion.
Only one thing. You're right. Couldn't just be that like a satellite's down.
If you look up the word befuddled in the dictionary, there's a picture of Seo Bibble, just like perpetually befuddled. He doesn't know how else to be.
Your negotiations seem to have failed. The negotiations never took place.
What?
Like, he just immediately calms that right down.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't worry, they tried to kill us, but we're fine.
Yeah.
We'll handle this. Won't be a problem.
Can we all just take 1 minute to appreciate the fact that there is a character's name in Star Wars that's Bibble?
Bibble, right?
Yeah.
Bibble. I mean,
that was honestly, so when it was announced that Dominic Monaghan was going to be in episode 9, I was like, I really hope he's related to Seo Bibble. That's all I want.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
I believe it's your turn, Jason.
Yes, it is indeed
It is
your
my
turn.
right?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be one that we got from at Clopoon on Twitter.
Love it.
First of all, what did Luke mean when he said Han was Han about it? Just kidding. Just kidding. But he actually asked, do you guys think that Luke will have a major role in episode 9? If so, what will he do?
I don't think he's going to be in episode 9, so we can move on.
Really?
I'm just kidding. We know he's
Carl
going to
does not actually think
just kidding.
No, I actually fell for that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no. I mean,
I was like, that is a bold take. I want more. Give me the deets. And you're like, no.
Yeah. His role is superfluous. We don't need him. Ray's just transcended beyond what he can offer. I can't be what she needs me to be. Damn right. So she'll move on.
Yeah, right.
So, no, I think, well, to be fair, right? Like, Mark Hamill's been confirmed, so he's obviously in it. Yes. As far as a major role, I don't. Again, obviously all of us are going to have to speculate here. I'm going to say not major. I think it'll be bigger than initially planned because of Carrie's passing. Right? Like, it was made clear that Carrie was going to be kind of the central legacy character of 9 in the same way that Han was for 7 and Luke was for 8. I wouldn't be surprised if they upped his role a little bit to again ground us in some sense of a legacy character. So I hesitate to say major role. So what do I think his role will then be? I think he will be someone in the same way that the Force Ghost of Obi-Wan counseled Luke through the original trilogy. He was always there just to point and confirm, if you will, right? Like point ahead, this is where you need to go, and then confirm that you're kind of on the right path. I feel like Rey is very much discovering for herself what it means to be a Jedi. It's something new. And I think Luke will show up to confirm for her what she's doing, like in a moment of doubt. That's what I think. Like, I think Luke has obviously accepted the fact that she indeed is important. As Yoda said, lost Ben Solo we did, lose Rey we cannot. So I feel like, if anything, like, he's going to show up there in those moments of doubt Rey might have, and Luke will just simply be there to say, you're doing the right thing. Like, keep moving. Like, push ahead. That's how I kind of see his role. Because, again, and I know, like, this is where a lot of the, disgruntled fan base came from with Last Jedi is, in some way, and again, I'm gonna include myself there from the initial standpoint, because I definitely, this was part of my disappointment. As much as this isn't Luke's story anymore, a lot of us still wanted him to be the hero. And to be fair, he was the hero in Last Jedi at the end. But this isn't his story anymore, right? Like, that's very clear. And I'm okay with that. So I don't think, like, to say he's going to have a major role, I'm hesitant to say that because it's not his story. So in the same way that Obi-Wan was an integral role in the original trilogy, I could see Luke being an integral role, but not a major role. This is Rey's story. This is Rey's journey. She needs to figure it out. In the same way that even Luke did, right? Like, Luke transcends what Obi-Wan says to him in Return of the Jedi. So I think Luke will be there in some way to confirm for her, but not define for her where her journey needs to go. I just said a lot. I apologize. I hand it over to you two.
I feel kind of the opposite. I feel like Rey is done with Luke. She got closure when she felt him passing, and there wasn't fear or pain. It was peace and purpose, but I do feel like we'll see Luke, but it will be for Kylo instead of pointing and confirming for Rey. Luke will be pointing and confirming for Kylo, or having him confront what he needs to confront in some way, because that journey isn't finished, and it was to Kylo that Luke said, "See you around, kid." So that's the relationship I think that Luke is going to be there for, is to see things through with Kylo, especially since sadly Carrie Fisher isn't with us to culminate, to heal the rift that has split their family. So that's what I see happening. That's like my theory.
Nice.
That's a very good theory too, but I don't know how he's going to be used. I think he could be used with Rey. I think he could be used with Kylo. Perhaps he's used as both, but I do agree with you that it will be not a major role, but an important role. He will have a pivotal role to play, but it will not be the most important, and he will not be a major player. Maybe 3 or 4 scenes tops, I think.
Yeah.
That's my prediction, 3 or 4 scenes. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe he just sort of like stands there when people are making decisions, and it's either, depending on who's making that decision. Like, if Rey is making the decision, it's like, okay, good, it's a confirmation. But if it's Kylo making the decision, it's like, oh God, he's judging me, sort of thing,
Yeah.
But maybe he just stands there all the time and doesn't say a word.
Just looks.
See you around.
Stares.
Or he just shows up and says, "Told you I'd see you around, kid."
Right. Right.
He just disappears. Nobody can see me waving my hands.
I mean, we know that Mark Hamill can just come in and do one hell of a stare for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all he does.
The trilogy ends the way it began. Mark Hamill staring.
Love it. All right, so I think it's my turn, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to grab one of the questions that we got from Rick Z. That's his name, but not exactly the Twitter handle. But Rick Z, he asked several questions, so we probably won't get to all of them. But I like this question where he says, whose kyber crystal did Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, bleed to make his own? Was it Luke's green one, Vader's red one? Remember, Luke and Ben went looking for ancient Jedi and Sith artifacts. There's a chance that something relative to these theories can be true. So who do you guys think kyber crystal Kylo Ren used?
His own.
His own. Yep, thank you. Yeah, Jinx.
Yep.
You owe me
Yep.
a Pepsi.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I actually think it was his own, too.
Yeah, he had a lightsaber, and it, as far as we know, it wasn't destroyed, and the hilt looks similar to the base, the base of what he has now, at least in the flashback scenes. So I think it's his own. He's a tinkerer when it comes to lightsabers, and he's up the ante with his, given it, hand guards and bled it so much that it looks like it's cracked. But yeah, I'd say it's its own.
I like the symbolism of that because it's not necessarily that he's, corrupting somebody else's goodness. He's just corrupting his own goodness,
right?
And twisting it.
Which is so perfect for his arc too, right?
Yep.
He is someone who came, one of the first things said to him by Lor Santeca is the First Order rose from the dark side. You did not. Right? He's not of that. And this, oh my gosh, guys, it's like with Han Solo in Solo, a Star Wars story, right? That great shot of Han stepping into the silhouette of the dark clouds of the Sabacc chamber. Han is someone who grew up in the dark, but he's not claimed by the dark. Kylo grew up in the light, but refuses to be claimed by it. How interesting. But yeah, I'm with you guys too, though. I think it's his own, and again, I think it's important the symbolism of that, and almost like as a final act of denouncing the fact that he was Ben Solo is to corrupt his own goodness.
It makes his anguish very self-contained, which I like, because that's what the Sith do, right? They think only inward of themselves, right? And if he had corrupted, say, that legacy lightsaber, the Skywalker saber, that symbol would be very different. It's I'm corrupting this entire line, my bloodline. But no, it's just all of that pain and anguish is inside of himself. So I really like that, and I think that's so perfect for his arc.
And also think Anakin didn't have that luxury, right? His lightsaber was gone. I wouldn't be surprised if he had just used his own. So yeah, it makes sense that he just takes what was the goodness that he was, and just totally disrupts it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Good question.
Great question, Rixie. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Jason.
Katie.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'm gonna go with this question from Human Launchpad on Twitter.
Oh, good one.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Great question.
Why is redemption such a big thing in the lair? Anakin was pure evil, killed younglings. Even Luke knew public funeral wasn't right. Kylo's first scene was striking down an unarmed old man and then ordering murder of entire innocent village. Zero room for redemption from me. # life in jail. You like I should put me in a radio drama, you guys.
I mean, yeah. Totally.
This is why redemption is it's not just big in the lair. Redemption is one of these central themes of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound patronizing here, Human Launchpad. It's a great question. But I think this is what makes Star Wars, right? Darth Vader, before the prequels ever came out, before that stuff even existed, Darth Vader in episodes 4 and 5 is created to be one of the most incredible villains in movie history. Irredeemable, what everybody would assume. The point of Star Wars is to say that no one is irredeemable. And I love that message. I think that is immensely important. No one is beyond redemption. Now, redemption doesn't mean that you just, everything's okay and hunky-dory. I don't think those are, those go one and the same. But if Darth Vader can be saved, there's no reason Ben Solo can't be saved. Again, what is that? What does life beyond redemption look like? That's certainly up for debate. I think in the original trilogy timeline, it made sense that Vader kind of had to die. Right? There's no way he can just go back to the light and everything's okay. The point about Luke making it a non-public funeral, it's not about shame. I don't think he's not doing that out of shame. He's doing that because this is an intensely personal thing for Luke, right?
Yes.
It's not about making it public for public's sake. This is about Luke symbolically destroying what his father no longer was, and that's important for Luke's personal journey. That's why it's not anything beyond that, and that's why. Yes, he killed younglings. I totally disagree, though, that he's purely evil. He's not purely evil. The only character I would argue is purely evil is Sheev Palpatine.
Yes.
And I'm also of the opinion that really no one is purely evil. Anyone can be redeemed. I mean, you have to be open to it, and there's a lot of people who aren't. But and to this point, I'd be curious to hear what you have to say, Katie. Ben Solo has been closed off to that sense of redemption. He's turned it down every chance he's gotten. But I'd still think he's redeemable. And again, I think that's important to us both in the show, but I also think beyond the show, it's important to Star Wars because it's the central theme of Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to clarify, redemption and forgiveness does not mean absolution of the crimes and the sins. You still have to pay the price. You still have consequences for what you do. Forgiveness and redemption is of the soul. It's not of the deeds, and anyone who commits these kinds of terrible acts, especially when they're in pain and they're in turmoil and things like that, in Star Wars are shown to have the ability to be redeemed. Obviously that is the huge primary driving force from the prequels to the original trilogy is with the character of Anakin and Vader. It still doesn't excuse the fact that Anakin killed younglings and Vader slaughtered millions. It doesn't excuse that fact. But the person themselves, on a spiritual level, through the Force, is redeemed. If Vader had survived, he probably still would have had to face consequences for those crimes. He probably still would have been tried for war crimes by the rebellion if he had survived, if he had lived. There's no way around it. But redemption and forgiveness does not mean that we just accept what they did, the wrongs that they did. So I think that's an important point an important distinction to make. So
what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I think it's a big theme around here because it is something that we all enjoy, and I know for me, I want to believe in goodness. I want to believe in the pervasive nature of goodness, and that means that goodness can dwell even within the darkest heart. And somebody can be twisted up and angry and fearful and all those things, but that goodness can still come out if they choose to believe in it. That's just, I don't know, that's something that I want to believe in, so I do, and I'd love to see it in my stories because when we see it in our stories, we believe that it is something that we can have in real life. That's what storytelling is. It's a mirror. It's a reflection of the things that we see inside ourselves and we want to bring out into the world. So that's why it's such a big thing around here, because we all enjoy it. We all want to see it and believe in it. So yeah. Now it's Jason's turn.
All right. I feel like I'm going to get very different answers with this question from Jeff Keltz. In your future speculative headcanon, what would your penultimate ending shot of episode 9 be? I'm talking about the characters, planet, background, foreground, whatever. What would warm your Star Wars cockles?
Cockle. I like the use of the word cockles here.
Yes. But yes, what the final shot of episode 9, what would that be if you were in charge of
penultimate
it?
means before the last.
Well, I'm pretty sure he means that final shot before it irises out to credits.
Oh, okay. I guess I have to actually. I have to be that person. We're just going to be actually tonight.
Really quick, just for the sake of trying to punch in something similar. So that's a great question from Jeffrey, and I also want to work it into this question from Sartaj, because Sartaj had one other question. It's very similar, where he says, with 9 being the closing chapter in the Skywalker saga, what are you hoping for the last shot? Do you want it to be a grand statement that speaks to the saga as a whole, or perhaps something intimate, an intimate final note that provides closure for the new characters? So I think those questions are very similar. So I just kind of want to group them together. Great question from both Sartaj and Jeffrey. So again, both about closing shots. So Katie, you field this first. What do you think?
Oh no, because I have so many different ideas. On the one hand, I want like a big, like the end of the Phantom Menace. Just everybody's there and everybody's cheering. It's kind of like the throne room scene, but I don't want it specifically to be in a throne room. Maybe just
you want it to be in a chapel with a wedding.
Yes, I want it to be a
bells
wedding. Exactly. And just everybody's happy. It's just Iris is out on Rey and Kylo just kissing, like it's like the end of The Little Mermaid, like where they kiss and then the movie's over, like that's it. Like, but then on the other hand, I would love if the final shot was the Falcon shooting off into space, and we Iris out on hyperspace. Like, oh my gosh, like, especially if Rey and Kylo were boarded together, and it's just like off to the next adventure. Da 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 da. Like, oh my god. So I have so many thoughts. What I think we'll get is a big group shot, like the end of A New Hope or the end of The Phantom Menace. Just to, it's like, oh, see, everybody's together. Return of the Jedi style.
Yeah.
So I
think Return of the Jedi is a good one to look at for this. I honestly think it might be multi-layered. Like, you're going to have stuff happening in the foreground, maybe something happening in the background. I don't know. For whatever reason, the shot that, sort of sticks in my mind is the galaxy is celebrating the end of the war, and our heroes are kind of by themselves, decompressing, going, we did it.
Aww.
And
it's like more intimate, yeah.
Yeah, more intimate. And maybe, we've got all the resistance heroes and stuff in the foreground, and we see Rey walking away in the background onto her next journey, onto her next adventure.
Alone? Not alone. Surely not alone.
BB-8's with her.
Oh. I just want her to bring her friends. Bring her friends.
Don't know.
I don't want her to be alone anymore.
It's probably going to be Chewbacca, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chewie and R2. But yeah,
I don't want her to be alone. Yeah.
I think that might be an interesting shot. So, but I do think it's going to be more contained to Sarge Chash's question. I think it's going to be more contained to this trilogy. The only thing I can think of that it might extend back to the saga as a whole is if we have a Force Ghost or two show up, like Yoda and Luke. But we've never had a Force Ghost in a final shot. They were almost in the final shot in Return of the Jedi, but I don't know. So
yeah. As far as what I'd like to see, I made this known on Twitter and got some weird responses, but I don't care. I'm going to say it again. I'd love to see a Force Ghost of Han, Luke, and Leia. I don't care that Han's not a Jedi. I disagree with people that think it makes no sense, because I think it does make sense, and it makes immense sense with what Disney has done with the Force. And I heard a lot of people saying, well, like, if that happens, then these people need to be Force Ghosts too. My response to that is no, because it doesn't make sense to the story. The reason a Force Ghost of Han would make sense for Rey is because she freaking knew him. She didn't know Padme. She didn't know these other characters. And it's not because I don't like Padme or these other characters. It's not that I don't think they should be Force Ghosts. It's not about that. It's about storytelling. For Rey, she never had a relationship with those characters. We're not going to see them, which again is making me think, as much as I would like in some way love a Force Ghost of Hayden Christensen, I think it's becoming less and less likely, because again, it doesn't really make sense for the story. Rey, certainly not. Kylo, it's becoming decreasingly less the case. Force Ghosts only can appear to people open to them, who they've had relationships with. I mean, that's how canon has been established. So, do I think that Han, Luke, and Leia will appear? It's probably not likely that Han will be there. Less, and maybe even unlikely that Leia. Very likely that Luke. Very debatable that Yoda would be there, because again, Rey doesn't know Yoda. I mean, she's probably heard of him, but she doesn't know him. And that's the thing. The Force Ghosts are about relationships. And the reason I would love it with Han, Luke, and Leia is, again, because I think it would mirror what we got in Return of the Jedi. Like, the reason Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda, they're kind of the big three heroes, in a way, of the prequel trilogy. I mean, yes, Padme is a hero of it, too. But, again, like, Luke never knew her. Like, he just didn't. Like, it's a sad truth of his existence that he never got to know his mother, because she's amazing.
He has no real memories of her.
Right. Yeah. So, again, And somebody made a point of like, oh, it just seems like a bit fan service. And yeah, it kind of is. And I don't dismiss that. But I think it's also, it'd be important for Rey in the sense of the fact that it kind of ties together the last trilogy with this one, which by extension connects it to all three. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see that. I don't think it'll happen, but I would like to see it. And here's again, like why I'd love it for Han, because it shows that the Force responds to his sacrifice, right? Like Han doesn't go there expecting some sort of eternal life. He just goes there out of love for his son. And I would just love that the Force envelopes him and brings him back. You know, I just think that'd be really beautiful. But how I think it'll end is I do think it'll end with a closing shot of our new characters because it's their story and that's who we deserve to see last. But if we're going to connect it to all three trilogies, then yes, I think we'll definitely in some way see Luke and possibly Leia and even less possibly Han. But and again, as much as I'd love to see Force Ghost Anakin, I don't think that's likely. And I love Force Ghost Yoda, but again, don't think it makes sense. And again, same with Obi-Wan. Like, sure, I'd love to see a Force Ghost of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, but it doesn't really make sense for the story. So that's kind of what I want and what I kind of expect. so great questions.
I mean, it's bold of me to assume that I'll even be able to see the ending through my tears.
That is fair.
No matter what it is, I'm going to be a mess.
Yeah, for sure. So I believe it's my turn to ask a question.
It is.
So real quick, yeah. So thank you to both Jeffrey and Sartaj for those questions. Those were great. Jeffrey, right? That was Jeffrey Keltz. Yeah. So I love this question that we got from Bobby, who we had on not too long ago on the show. And did you guys see his question? It's so fun.
Yes.
What do we think Shakespeare would think of the great rock band known as Nickelback? I mean, he'd love that. How could you not?
Good old bard.
Listen to that iambic pentameter right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you remind me. Yeah. Sorry. I had to cue that up. I love Nickelback. They're so fun. Oh my gosh. So the bard would look at Nickelback and think, where's the tragic circumstance? Where's, the cruel fate tearing at these people's lives? I mean, is it really a story if someone's not, eating a pie made of the flesh of their like, is it, that's like...
The bard would want to rewrite all their songs to make them better. I think he's like, we need better lyrics.
Are you kidding me? This song "Far Away" it touches my heart every time. Oh yeah, here we go.
But the bard is...
This is Anakin to Padme during the Clone Wars. He misses her, guys. He misses her.
No. The bard would be like, describe how you miss her. Why do you miss her? I miss you like the sun or whatever. There's all this stuff. He's like, you gotta... How do you miss her? Don't just say I love you, I miss you. It's describe it.
No, I need it. I need a cut of of Anakin staring out across Coruscant and Padme staring back from her apartment. And I miss you.
Oh, challenge accepted.
But
really quick, I do have a serious question. I didn't think Bobby asked that for fun, so thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
And getting in Nickelback. But this is a really fun question from Jeffrey Beaumont, and Jeffrey's been with us for a long time. So great, thank you for playing always, Jeffrey. So he says, "What do you guys? What would have happened to the universe and to himself if Master Luke went full Sith at the end of Return of the Jedi? Could he single-handedly destroy the Emperor and Darth Vader?"
Yes.
No.
I'm with
Nah.
Katie. No way.
Yeah, no
No?
way.
No.
Luke's not that strong. He just believes hard enough. Like, that's the thing.
I mean, yes.
I mean, yeah.
If he went full Sith and believed hard enough, don't you think, you combine all that together? Maybe, just maybe?
Here's
No.
So here's why I think no too.
Okay.
Sheev, good old Sheev.
Convince me.
Yeah,
Convince me.
And yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to say you're wrong. But yeah, my reasoning is I think that Sheev is smart enough to know, like, yeah, he wants Luke to fall, but I don't think he'd be so. I don't think he'd welcome him so willingly in to just be overthrown. This is Sheev Palpatine. He thinks he can handle Luke, and I'm with you, Katie. Like in the sense of like he's strong enough in the Force, and he believes enough to do what he needs to do, and he's also defining what it means to be a Jedi over and against how the old way of being a Jedi was believed. But yeah, Sheev's not afraid of him in a power standpoint. I don't think he doesn't know enough about the stuff. Like he doesn't even know how to deflect Force lightning, right? Like look how easily Obi-Wan does it in Attack of the Clones against Dooku. Like Luke just doesn't know these things. He's never seen that power before. So that's why I think Sheev, I think he had the potential. Like if he'd taken on full training and became like a full Sith Lord, I think he'd quickly be able to overthrow Palpatine with time, but not in that moment. Not in that moment. Like he's strong, but not strong enough.
I mean, Vader wasn't even strong enough to overthrow him.
Right.
Like, he
was always a dog. He was just
right.
He was his bulldog.
Yeah. And for me, it's that the point is that Palpatine can't be destroyed with darkness. Darkness can't destroy more darkness, and so there was no dark side power that Luke could have unlocked to take him down. He could only be destroyed by that pervasive goodness that we talked about before. And so and again, the Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. So it doesn't matter how strong he was, that was never going to do it. And the dark side way of thinking is thinking that it is a power that he has. So if he had given into it, there's no way he could have taken Palpatine and Vader. Mm-mm.
Okay, I agree. You're right. I've reconsidered my point. Because if Luke had turned to the dark side, he loses the strength of the moment that he has, because his strength is the purity and the goodness and the only light in that moment. You're right. Palpatine lives in the dark, and so that is where he is most at home and most equipped to deal with these things. So you're right. Luke would have been kowtowed rather easily.
Yep, good old lightning blast to the chest. That'll take care of it. That'll cure all your Luke Skywalker ails.
That the great movie Dark Knight Rises, when Bane says, "Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light till I was a man." That's Palpatine.
we gotta watch Batman together sometime. Carl.
Yes, I love those movies. So, Katie, I believe it's on to you.
Oh, it's on to me. I'm gonna go with this question from Jeff Fishbach here.
Oh, great.
That says, what are your favorite, or should I say, wildest theories about Star Wars Episode 9? What do you guys got? You got any wild theories here?
Well, first of all, I haven't looked at any of the wild theories out there. I'm pointedly ignoring all the wild theories out there, because I don't want to either get my hopes up or entertain the ridiculousness, because some of them are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do I have any wild theories? I generally don't. I generally kind of shut down my brain unless I'm considering specific things, specific questions. I generally don't go crazy on these sort of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my wildest theory is still the idea that we talked about a couple episodes ago where Hux shows up with half an arm from an altercation, and we just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's never explained.
It's never explained.
Just a wild, yeah. No, and I'm kind of with you, Jason, in the sense that like I don't really pay attention much to the theories because I find a lot of them a bit out there and ridiculous as a result. And there still are a lot of theories, and I don't mean to come across as a jerk here, but there are a lot of theories where again it's a lot of people that are just still really ingrained with just wanting things certain ways. And I'll say Last Jedi broke me. And initially I would say it broke me and I mean I was very aggressively against Last Jedi for its initial few months. I will own it. But now I really do feel like it broke me in all the right ways. And I think that was part of its intentionality, is it broke me from all what I just expected of Star Wars, and it gave me what Star Wars needs to be. And because of that, I kind of really distanced myself from trying to have too many expectations. Now, I want to say, like, part of being a Star Wars fan, right, is theorizing about things. Like, that's fun.
Yes.
Like, it's a great discussion to have. And so I think, like, we can get into some of, like legitimate discussion about, like, where do we think Rey's going, and Kylo, and Hux, and Poe, right? Like, those are all valid discussions. Yes. But as far as, like, wild theories, well, I guess my wildest theory is Han as a Force ghost. That's my wildest theory.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah,
because it is wild.
That's exactly what we're talking about here.
It is a bit fan servicey, to be fair.
I'm a fan. I enjoy being serviced. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh yeah,
right.
Some people throw that around like it's something negative, which I think is also unfair because it's like we are fans. Like we want to be serviced. Like all of Star Wars is a fan service. Even though Last Jedi may have broke you, it's still fan service in so many ways. Like. It's like that's not a bad thing.
Exactly. Oh my god.
But yeah, so I don't prescribe to any of the wild theories because I just find them kind of silly. Like a lot of them are still floating around about like, oh, Plagueis is going to be this, that, or that. Plagueis is not involved, and he doesn't. No. And he shouldn't be. Palpatine not involved.
Darth Maul comes back. Darth Maul and Kira were Rey's parents the whole time.
Yes. Or Rey is the daughter of Han and Kira.
Boom. She's their time travel baby.
Because there's no way she's age appropriate for that.
No. Han slipped up, y'all. Han was being Han.
Oh.
Han's not perfect.
Super not. Oh, no. Yeah, like he and Leia were on the
Don't you do that to Leia. Yeah. Don't you do that to Leia.
Well, Han, like, I love Han, but Han can be a bit of a dummy. So,
yeah, he can be kind of selfish sometimes. That would have been so sad.
I hope.
All right, here's my wild theory.
Let's hear it.
It's in a similar vein to yours, Carl. All right, so it's set 3 years after the 9 is 3 years after 8, and Kylo and Rey are lightsabers crossed, and Rey is like, Ben, come back to the light, and he's like, give me one good reason. And she says, our son. And then into the room walks a 2-year-old boy.
Oh my gosh.
Turns out you can get pregnant from hand touching across the galaxy.
Well, I think it was Lawrence Kasdan that said that like a kiss in Star Wars equates sex, right? Like they're not those movies. So I don't know if they necessarily had sex by touching hands, but they definitely went to like second or third base. So
my.
That's my wild theory is that between movies Rey will have given birth to Kylo Jr.
Kylo, yeah, that's what she chooses to. This is Kylo Jr.
She names him.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. All right. So we're going to have time for just a couple more questions. So it's my turn, I believe, right?
It's my turn.
So
it's my turn.
Oh, damn it. I'm really bad at this. Sorry.
You want to do one more each, maybe?
Yeah. Or? Wait, am I after Jason?
Yes, you're after me.
Okay.
So I've actually got two because they're going to be quick questions.
Okay.
First, from Eliezer Rodriguez says, I love the radio dramas and was wondering, since we do not have, and I do not think we are going to get radio dramas for the prequels, would you guys be down to making your own prequel radio dramas? If someone wants to come up with a script and help us do that, I will totally be down with it.
I'm so into it. Yeah.
Same here. Right. Yeah. The amount of work that goes into writing them, I don't have the skill for that. So or the time.
Writing and producing,
Sound editing. No.
Like because those radio dramas are like they're tight, like they're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the sound quality, the music cues, the acting too, right? The acting is to me almost the easiest part. If you got a script, like you can get a decently talented person to do that, but. Again, I'm still all on board with somebody talented. Not saying that we're not talented, but maybe that's not our talent. But I would love someone to write those radio dramas, and I'd love like Kat Tabor, James Arnold Taylor, like Matt Lanter. I'd love to hear them do the radio dramas. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
And I remember somebody retweeted us saying that, and James Arnold Taylor retweeted it, and like he was all on board. So I'd love that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
It would.
We wish we could, Eleazar. So thank you.
Yes, I mean, if we had the abilities to do the sound editing and the script writing for it, totally. But the other question is going to be from Joseph Singleton. If you could swap Hayden Christensen for any actor to be Anakin, who would it be? And I'm going to go ahead and give a cheat here and say Matt Lanter.
Ooh, yeah.
Not that I would want to change Hayden Christensen out.
Sure.
Because I'm so completely used to the fact that he's there, and if you switch him out now, I'm gonna just kind of be like, "Why'd you do that, you idiots?" That was weird. Sorry, but the only other one I can think of right now who I would switch him out would be Matt Lanter, and that's because he played the same character. So I'm totally copping out on that one.
I got one.
Yeah, what you got?
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor?
It's just Ewan McGregor playing both roles. So that, like, when he's all like, why do I get the feeling we've picked up another pathetic life form? And he's actually talking about himself. Anakin Skywalker meets Obi-Wan Kenobi. Pleased to meet you.
We're talking about Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith here, Katie.
I don't care. And then it's like, you were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. I hate you.
Why do I feel you're going to be the death of me? Don't say that, Master.
It's just the same, but they're both you. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight.
I love it.
Carl, do you have a real answer?
Something that's not a cop-out or something ridiculous.
I would say, and again, like not to throw any shade at Hayden, because I think, like he does really well at certain parts. In all honesty, I got a couple responses. One, with what Alden did with Han, I think Alden would have been a great Hayden.
Oh, that would have been
Or would have
fun.
been a great Anakin. Like I think Alden Ehrenreich really showed his acting chops as Han.
Yeah, he could,
and showed like the ability to act with emotional range. But actually, the person I would pick is Tobey Maguire. Just think of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Lots of people are throwing up right now.
No,
I do love Tobey Maguire, but I don't think he could play. He couldn't play a dark character believably enough.
I don't know, but there's something so earnest about him, and there's something so earnest about Anakin. I don't know.
No,
I could see it.
I do, but my real answer would be an actor named Mike Vogel, who he's in the original movie Cloverfield. Cloverfield is one of my favorite movies of all time. He plays Jason Hawkins in the movie. He's the brother of one of the main characters. There's just something about how believable he acts, and he plays a very emotional character without being overly dramatic. He has a great acting range. He's also like easy on the eyes, which I don't mind, and like has the right physique for like a younger Darth Vader, a better physique than Hayden Christensen in the sense of like he's just a little bit beefier without being like a bodybuilder. But right, like Hayden is always a little too skinny. To like become David Prowse. But Mike Vogel would do I just feel like he'd do a really good job. And again, he's like Hayden Christensen, he's a lesser known actor, which is something George wanted. So that would be my actual serious answer. And to be completely honest, now that I'm thinking about it, like my God, he would have been an awesome Anakin Skywalker. So
I'm looking at him right now. I Googled him. And yeah, he could definitely have pulled off the look. I'm not very familiar with his talents, so
I only
can't
know
speak
him
to
in
that.
Cloverfield too, so I'm not familiar beyond that movie.
Yeah.
I hold that movie in very high esteem, but yeah.
But yeah, no, just based on his looks, he could definitely get the look of Anakin.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and obviously
cool.
anybody could look like Anakin. I mean, the only time we ever
Right.
see him is he's just a burned potato head. So like, it's not hard.
Crispy Anakin.
Yeah. He's just the chip that Palpatine didn't throw away. To use Katie's analogy.
Exactly. He's like, he like hovered over the trash can for a bit, like, popped in his mouth. Like,
man.
All right, so now it's my turn.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go with this person's got a great name. Her name's Katie.
Yes.
So Katie Veru asks, are there any scenes you would omit from any of the films? So that's a big question, but are there any particular scenes that jump out to either of you, obviously myself included, that we would potentially omit from the films? I've got some.
They're all amazing.
Because I got a couple.
It's so hard.
So I would just say shorten the pod race. Again, get rid of all the scenes they added.
Bite your tongue, sir.
I own that proudly. It's too damn long in the Blu-ray release. Go back to the theatrical cut. It was perfect. They added way too much. So I would definitely cut some of those scenes.
It needs to be 2 hours longer.
Oh, God.
I disagree because the theatrical release had no Gasgano, and I need Gasgano.
I mean, you see him for a second. That's enough for me.
Oh, sir, you do not understand.
If we omit the scene where Padme dies, does that mean she gets to live? Is that how that works? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's honestly anything else though. I mean, there's some things. No. So to be fair, like I think like this is a valid question because right in some way I think it could just be like, are there scenes you just don't like? But to me, I'm reading this more as like, are there things you could get rid of to just maybe make a tighter movie? That's how I'm interpreting it. That's why I go with the pod racer stuff. Because I'm not saying it's like garbage, but to me it would just make it a tighter piece. My next thought was like, oh sorry, but like
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just like I love the pod race, but I get where you're coming from a filmmaking perspective, because the point of the pod race is to get from, Anakin's a slave to we have the money and we can leave. And that it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 50 minutes because the result is the same.
Right.
So that's sorry.
Right. No. Yeah. But like I was thinking of like there's the entire Fathier chase on The Last Jedi. I will never watch that scene again unless I have to, because I just don't enjoy it. But do I think it needs to be omitted? No. Like, it makes sense for the story. Like, it's there for a reason. I don't think it's bad. It's just not a scene I enjoy. Jedi rocks. I'd omit that and just put in Lappy Neck. What belongs there? So
if you cut it out of your movie, just bring it on over to mine. I'll watch 2 scenes of Jedi rocks. Just to watch it twice.
But yeah, that's
I'm with Katie on that one.
But anything else you guys can think of for that?
No, not for me. I love every minute of Star Wars. I want it all there all the time.
I'm always the kind of person who's like, well, why did they have to cut those deleted scenes? Why not leave them in? Yeah. That's me. I would
movie 5 hours long. Every Star Wars movie 5 hours long.
I would do that. I would totally do that. So I'm a terrible person to ask this question to, because I just want more Star Wars, and any Star Wars is good Star Wars. Well, that's not entirely true, but you get the idea. I'm a terrible person to ask this question to. I feel like there could have been things trimmed in The Last Jedi because it is such a long and dense movie, but I can't give you anything specific right now because
I can.
I would need to watch it again. I know you said the Fathier chase, but
no, it's not the Fathier chase. I posit not necessarily just a straight omit, but I posit just a trade. Instead of the Luke drinking the green milk, get rid of that, because like we've done enough to establish that he's in exile. We don't need this like weird scene. Give us the scene where he mourns Han. Like that's way more important. And even like Mark Hamill tweeted that too, right? Like I don't understand why I need to be drinking from a space cow. Give me my emotional scene, which he also acts the hell out of. Like it's perfect. So I posit not omit, but trade. Get rid of the scene that further establishes something we've already been told, and give us something with way more emotional weight. So.
Yeah, maybe extend the scene with the dice when he pulls the dice out of the Falcon.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll do my last question. Yeah.
Yeah, do it up.
This one comes from my friend Tammy on Twitter at Ben's Calligraphy. She asks, if you were Maul's costume designer, what would his costume look like? It's perfect. It's amazing. I do love that as the years have gone on, though, like he's naked all the time now, just straight up. It's like, in the comic books, because they don't have to like put any paint on anybody, they just have to draw it. They just it's actually kind of a running joke where it's like, how many pages until he loses his shirt, because it's never more than 3 pages, shirt gone. Like which is just like, his tattoos are actually like an amazing costume just because they describe his personality so well. But I really like his black robes. They're really good. I like how they were intentionally made to look like Jedi robes, but dark and and fluid. The way he moves, there's just so much fabric that he looks like a shadow sweeping up to attack Qui-Gon Jinn in the desert. It's like
that is such a great fight scene.
Right, and the costuming work there is just fantastic. It's quite the introduction for Darth Maul. And I want to say that in the Age of Republic Darth Maul comic, when we see him in white robes, you guys, my boy looks good in white. I know that in Star Wars you have to earn the color white. Like you can't just be walking around in the color white for no reason. But I want to see him wear white like all the time. He looks so good.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I can't really add to that answer. I think he looks great as he is. I'm terrible when it comes to designing these things. I can act the hell out of them afterwards if you want me to. But designing them, nope. I need that inspiration to inform the acting decisions. So I'm like, I can't just create something on a page like that. That's not my forte.
Sure.
So,
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't have a strong bind to this, but I'll just say this. I adore Katie, and I would design his costume to just be a really small black loincloth. That's it. That's it.
I love it.
I'm looking out for my friend
so
Katie.
Good.
Just looking out for you, Katie.
His favorite.
He's got like those really small, tight workout shorts.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. Or actually, this would actually be real hot. I love those new like workout pants where they're like really skinny fit, and then they have like the cuffed pant bottom. I gotta buy a pair of those. But just him wearing like a space version of those, but no top.
Oh my gosh!
But
just
maybe his necklace, like the Crimson Dawn necklace, because that's lit.
Just have like, oh my gosh, the Crimson Dawn necklace, and then just like black yoga pants. Just like that's it. That's the ideal Darth Maul.
Boom.
Boom! We did it. We solved it, you guys.
All right. Is it my last one?
It's your last question.
All right. I'm going to knock out a couple of them with this. Jeff Fishbach asks, could Rey still be a Skywalker? Chloe Poon asks, do you think Rey's parents have yet to be revealed? And then Jay White essentially also includes has actually I think it's more in depth. I think I'll save that one on its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Let's knock out these questions from Jeff and Chloe Poon. Could Rey still be a Skywalker?
Nope.
And do you think Rey's parents have yet to be revealed?
No, I don't think so.
Do I think Rey is a Skywalker? No. Do her parents been revealed? Yes. They're nobody.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're going to be revealed. Is what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say no. I don't think they've been revealed. What I mean is they're not going to be. They're just doesn't matter.
They have. They're nobody, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
And I think that's integral to her story. So yeah. I mean, all the way up to the release of Episode 8, I wanted her still to be a Skywalker. I'm not going to lie. I just thought it'd be really important. Like, I still there was still a part of me. The Legends canon in me still wanted that like Jason and Jaina Solo like story arc,
dynamic,
right? Dynamic,
yes.
Yeah. But what they did with 8, I think made it pretty clear that she's not a Skywalker. And now I'm on the camp of like, okay, she's not, and I love it. Like, and I don't want her to be, because I think it diminishes her now if they make her one. Because, again, like I'm just going to go back to my good old biblical reference of she is the David to the Skywalker Saul, right? Like the Skywalker lineage just isn't getting it done anymore, so the Force picks a new chosen one, and that's Rey. So, and I'm cool with that. Just like Anakin, she's a nobody.
It's a good story.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I don't think she's a Skywalker. Going into The Last Jedi, you could have made that case, but after The Last Jedi, I don't think that's possible anymore. I really don't. And as far as her parents being revealed, maybe we'll someday find out their names and what they looked like, but the importance of who they are has already been established, and that they are nobody. And the importance of who they are to her, to the story, to the story at least, is already revealed. We don't need to know more about them. To her, maybe she has to learn to, forgive them for leaving her on Jakku, abandoning her on Jakku, depending on how exactly that all went down. Maybe she has to learn to let go of that pain of abandonment. Mm-hmm. But they only can be used now to enhance Rey as a character. And the parents as a whole don't. I don't want to say that they don't matter, but they kind of just don't matter at this point. Who they are, they just don't really matter, except for how they relate to Rey and how it affects her moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm going to make a really quick real world comparison, and I could be way off here, so feel free to use your moniker, Katie. Carl, you're a fool.
Carl, you're a fool.
Carl, you're a fool.
But I feel like part of the Luke Skywalker family story of the original trilogy, when it was written by George Lucas, he was writing a story about a family during the Vietnam era, right? And basically, George Lucas grew up in an era believing that he had to somehow reconcile the sins of his parents, right? The sins of this generation that condoned the Vietnam War, which was a ridiculous war. And George was in the camp of, this is ridiculous, we shouldn't be fighting it. And trying to reconcile for the mistakes of the previous generation. And I feel like, in a way, and again, I could be pushing a little too far here, the story of Rey today is we live in a society, again, I'm speaking of American culture, where a lot of times like families are very disruptive and it can be very dismissive of children. And I think the story of Rey tells young people like it's okay to walk away from the abandonment you've experienced and still become your own hero. Like you don't have to fix what they did. You just have to be you and shine as you. So I just feel like that might be the cultural statement of those two tales. And again, I do think I'm right on with Luke. I really do, because I think that was George's point. I could be a little off with Rey, but I feel like in this modern world, in the way that kind of the way our culture looks now with families, and I'm not saying like all the time, but a lot of families are just very broken down in a way. And I think the story of Rey is saying like, it's okay to walk away from them and to just flourish on your own. Like it's not, you have to hate them, but you also don't have to fix them. Like it's
Have
okay.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, the second one.
The second one, exactly.
Yeah.
That's been a narrative more and more prevalent these days. I really do feel like it's a reflection of the society we live now. Again, we're all products of our times, and the importance of found family and the importance of walking away from relationships that cause you genuine pain. That blood isn't as important as the people that actually care about you. Mm-hmm. That is definitely a more and more modern story, and I do think that Rey exists in that. She's part of that.
And to an extent, you could also include Ben in that as well. Mm-hmm. His parents loved him, but Leia was always busy with the Republic. Han was always kind of trying to do his own thing with the racing and stuff. And Luke just wanted to train him to be a Jedi. So maybe he felt abandoned, and he rebelled against that, whereas Rey is actually legitimately abandoned and still finds a way to bring about good in this world.
Yeah.
And so it's dealing with the two sides of that, the perceived abandonment of Ben and how he rejected all of that and turned because, it convoluted that in his mind and turned because of it. And then the purity of Rey to overcome her abandonment.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing two sides of that. That's a really good point, Carl. So I think that's a good way to bring that to our day here.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about before, and the way you just put it, Katie, found family. That's the story of Rebels, right?
Yeah.
Rebels is the story of found family. And oh God, good old Satine. Satine's story is so powerful. So yeah. So so is that it? Are we done with questions for this episode?
I think so.
I think we're done for now. We still have quite a few questions left over, guys. So
actually, to be fair, not that many. We did a really good job. We knocked out probably 2/3 of them, so that's good.
But we still got plenty to keep us busy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and a few that we left out are really simple little ones, so we can have some fun just answering those quick in another time. But
exactly.
So if you wrote in, and again, we didn't get to all the questions you asked, we promise we will get back to these at some point. We're going to save them for another time. But to everyone that wrote in, thank you. Thank you so much. These were such fun and engaging questions. So thank you so much for participating, as you all always do. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Katie, for being a part of your first ever Larian question episode.
It's about gosh dang time.
I know we had a response episode for Solo when the DVD and it all came out on Blu-ray and stuff, but that was about one topic. This is just shotgun. Whatever anybody's thinking about Star Wars, get ready for it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. So if you want to stick around after the episode's over, we will be playing episode 6 of the Empire Strikes Back radio drama, Way of the Jedi. So certainly stick around for that. I forgot to think of any polls or matchups, and I think that's okay because next week we have a guest coming on that I'm really excited to have. So we're going to let him come up, or them. Nuts. We're going to let them come up with a matchup for next episode that we will then introduce the following week. So
yes. So if you're listening to this and you know you're coming on the show next week, be thinking of something.
Yes. But yeah, so we got a great episode coming next week. So looking forward to getting to that one. So yeah, that's going to do it.
That'll do it.
All right. Well, Carl, if people want to weigh in on anything else in this episode, or if people want to send in any more questions to us that we can, continue to add to our backlog, where can people do that, Carl?
Well, of course, you can do the easiest place to send us questions is on our on our Gmail. So you can email us at wampaslairpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at Wampaslair. We're on Facebook at Wampaslair Podcast. And we got a Patreon at patreon.com/Wampaslair Podcast. Katie, where can folks find you and all your fun musings on the Twitter world?
You guys can find me at PoHotDamarin. Please come on over and tell me what your ideal wedding dress for Rey is at the end of episode 9. Send me them pics. I want to see all the 1980s big puffy sleeves. Yeah, show me. Do it.
I'm going to sit over here and dance for the rest of the song, but any of you guys got anything else for this episode?
I'll do it.
I think that's going to do it.
Well, thank you
to
Katie Carl. Thank you to Carl and Katie for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode and contributing to this episode of the Wampa's Lair podcast. This has been episode number 321. Oh, God, that's the title.
You must contact me.
You must contact me. Thank you. I closed the window. For Carl and Katie and all of you Larians, I'm Jason, and we will see you next time here in the Wampa's Lair.
Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back by Brian Daley. Episode 6, Way of the Jedi. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there came a time of revolution, when rebels united to challenge a tyrannical empire. Now, it is a dark time for the rebellion. Their base on the planet Hoth has been destroyed. Their surviving rebel units are scattered among the stars, waiting to regroup at a secret rendezvous point. But one rebel must follow his own course. Commander Luke Skywalker obeys the instructions given him by the spectral image of his one-time teacher, Obi-Wan Kenobi. With the aid of his astro droid R2-D2, Luke is bringing his X-Wing fighter on a landing approach to the mysterious planet Dagobah. There, he is to further his training as a Jedi Knight, under the tutelage of the legendary Jedi Master, Yoda.
I'm not picking up any cities or technology. Massive life form readings, though. There's something alive down there, all right. Yes, I'm sure Dagobah's perfectly safe for droids, R2. Let's go in a little lower. See if we can pick up some terrain features. I know, R2. I hear you. All my scopes just went dead. I can't see a thing through this cloud layer. I just can't tell what's doing it. Well, we can't turn back now. Just hang on. I'm gonna start the landing cycle. Brace yourself, R2.
Lord Vader, our TIE fighters have been unable to re-establish contact with the Millennium Falcon.
Well, Captain Nida?
Considering the number of smaller craft we've lost in the asteroid field and the damage to our star destroyers, intelligence has concluded that the Falcon and her crew have been destroyed.
No, Captain Nida, they're alive. I want every ship in the fleet to sweep this asteroid field until they are found and captured.
Lord Vader, we've had a priority signal.
What is it, Admiral Beard?
The Emperor commands you to make contact with him.
Move my flagship out of the asteroid field at once, so that I may send a clear transmission. Prepare my communications vault.
At once, Lord Vader.
Thy servant awaits the unbended knee, my Emperor. What is thy bidding?
There is a great disturbance in the Force, Vader.
Yes, I have felt it.
We have a new enemy. Luke Skywalker.
Yes, my master.
He could destroy us.
He's just a boy, almost untrained, scarcely tested. And Obi-Wan can no longer help him.
The Force is strong within him. The son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi.
If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
Yes. He would be a great asset. Can it be done?
He will join us or die, Master.
How will you find him?
I shall tempt him with bait he cannot resist. Once I have the Millennium Falcon in hand, Luke Skywalker is as good as ours.
Go forth then, faithful servant, and work my will.
Oh, terrific landing. Right into a marsh. No, stay in your socket, R2. It's only a short wade to shore. I'll have a look around. No, lock yourself down, R2. If you don't look, you're gonna lose your balance. R2! R2? R2-D2, where are you? Will you be more careful? Lucky the water's only periscope deep. Look, I'll meet you over there. See it? Over on shore. R2? R2, the shore's over that way. Hey, R2, over this way. The bank isn't as steep here. R2, there's something behind you. It's coming right towards you. R2, get up here, hurry. R2, answer me. R2-D2? Oh, no. What? R2! Hey, are you all right? Say something. Come on, stand up, little buddy. Whatever that thing was, it spit you out. You're lucky you don't taste very good. Anything broken? Good. You know, if you're saying that coming here was a bad idea, I think I'm beginning to agree with you. Oh, R2, what are we doing here? It's like something out of a dream, or I don't know. I'm not even sure how I got us here. Oh, never mind. Night's coming on. We better set up camp. Well, that's the last of the gear. You ready for a recharge, R2? Okay. There you go, R2. You're welcome. What are friends for? Now all I gotta do is find this Yoda. If he even exists. I don't know either. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I was expecting a fortress or something. Swamp Planet's a pretty strange place to find a Jedi Master. Yeah, this place gives me the creeps, too. Oh, you're right. I could use a little supper. Still, there's something familiar about this place. I don't know. I feel like...
Feel like what, stranger?
Like we're being watched.
Oh, don't shoot! Away, put your blaster! Only my walking stick have I. No harm to you or the droid, I mean.
Listen, sneaking up on somebody's a good way to get yourself roasted, little friend.
Merely curious am I. I am wondering, why are you here? Please slay me not.
Oh, come on, you can get down off that log. It's just, I was looking for someone.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
I guess, but a green gnome isn't what I had in mind.
Help you I can, stranger. Yes?
I don't think so, little guy. I'm looking for a great warrior.
Ah, great warrior. Wars not make one great. Aha! In time for eating have I arrived. Plenty there is.
Put that down. R2 and I are gonna... Hey, that's my dinner.
Awful it tastes! How you get so big, stranger, eating food of that kind?
Listen, pal, I'm not exactly wild about survival rations either. I mean, we didn't mean to land in that mud puddle. If we could get our ship out, we would, but we can't. So why don't you just run along and do whatever it is that you do?
Cannot get your ship out. What else you have in these metal boxes besides bad food, eh?
Hey, leave those alone.
So many useless things you carry around.
Look out! You could have broken that power capsule.
Worthless are these gadgets.
Why don't you open those big green ears of yours and listen to me? Oh, you're making a mess. Give me back that energy lamp, will you?
No, stranger. Mine it is, or I will help you not.
Hey, look, I don't want your help. I want my lamp back. I'm gonna need it to get out of this slimy mud hole.
Mud hole? Slimy? My home this is. Not for you to say such things about my... Oh! What? No, Droid, no! My lamp! Mine! Let it go!
R2.
Let go him out, your droid! Mine! You tell him, stranger!
R2, let him have it. I mean, just so he'll leave.
Mine.
Oh, sure, yours. Now, will you move along, little fella? R2 and I have a lot of work to do.
No, generous stranger. Stay and help you, I will. Find your friend.
I am not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master. He's supposed to be here on
Jedi Master? Yoda. You seek Yoda?
What? You know him?
Take you to him, I will.
Yes.
Yes. But now we must eat. Not this nonsense food of yours. Come to my house.
No, wait a second.
What food have I there? Sorry you will not be. Come.
But...
Follow me, big stranger. Come.
Oh, brother. R2, stay here and watch after the camp. No, R2, I have to find this Yoda. I haven't got any choice. Don't worry. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Come in. That's right. Oh, keep your head careful. Careful.
Oh, no. Boy, low is your ceiling. I mean, your ceiling's kind of low.
High enough for me it is. Giants like you must bend. Over there on the floor, sit yourself.
Okay.
Time now for food.
Hey, listen, do you usually keep all these snakes and lizards around your house?
My friends they are, and harm nothing. Usually.
What?
Wiser you would be not to sit upon them.
Thanks for the warning.
On the table is your spoon.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'm sure that stuff's delicious, but I just don't understand why we can't see this Yoda right now. I mean, I wouldn't mind traveling in the rain if that's the problem.
Here, your bowl take.
Okay.
For the Jedi, it is time to eat as well. Eat! Eat! Hop! Good food! Good!
That's great. Listen, how far away is Yoda? Will it take us long to get to him?
Not far. Yoda, not far. Patience! Soon you will be with him. Eat now. Root leaf it is. I cook.
Yes, root leaf. Thanks, it's great.
Yes, thank you. Now, why you wish to become Jedi?
You know, pal, you're asking a lot of questions.
In my home, are you? A guest eating my food?
But I never even asked you to bring me to this hut. I don't see why...
Polite should you be? Nothing would it cost you. Why a Jedi then?
Well, mostly because of my father, I guess.
Ah, your father? Powerful Jedi was he? Powerful Jedi.
Oh, come on. How could you know my father? You don't even know who I am. No, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I've got friends waiting for me. I should be with them. So I've got to find the man who murdered my father. Here I am, sitting around this hut in a swamp planet.
Uh-huh. And find him you would? For revenge?
No, this is getting me nowhere. I'm wasting my time here.
I cannot teach this one. The boy has no patience, Obi-Wan.
He will learn patience, Master.
What? Ben? But
much anger in him, Obi-Wan. Like his father is he.
And was I any different when you taught me, Master?
This one is not ready, Obi-Wan.
Yoda. You. But I am ready, Yoda. Ben? Ben, I can be a Jedi. Ben, tell him I'm ready.
Ready, are you? Loud, unthinking youngster, are you? What know you of ready?
But Ben told me to come to you so that I could learn...
For 800 years have I trained Jedi. My own counsel will I keep on who is to be trained.
Yoda. Master. I don't mean to sound...
No right have you to call me by that word. You have not earned it. A Jedi must have the deepest commitment. The most serious mind?
How can I convince you?
Oh, Obi-Wan. A long time have I watched this one. All his life has he looked away to the future, to the horizon. Never his mind on where he was. What was he doing? What were you doing, eh, boy?
Oh, hey, listen, I didn't see it like that. Maybe you're right. But Yoda, I never had anyone to teach me any different.
And so you dreamt of adventure, eh? Excitement, eh?
But...
A Jedi craves not these things. Reckless are you, son of Skywalker!
So was I, if you remember, Master.
He is too old, Obi-Wan. Yes, too old to begin the training, Luke Skywalker.
No. I've learned so much, Master. Yoda. Ben, if I can't do it, if I'm not worthy, then why was I brought here? Won't you both at least let me understand why I had to go through this? Please.
Will he finish what he begins?
Luke must answer for himself and live by his answer.
I won't fail you, Yoda. Or you, Ben. I don't want anything the way I want this. Yes. Yes, Yoda. And I'm not afraid.
But you will be, son of Skywalker. You will be. Tastes good, but more moss extract it needs. Hey, who is at my window? Oh, R2-D2, little droid. Inside would I invite you, but bend down you cannot.
Yoda? Master?
Here am I, young Skywalker. I'll feel you.
I feel good. In fact, I feel great.
Good. Your strength will you need. Later we will eat.
No, breakfast can wait. I want to start learning right away. I have so many questions.
Patient must you be. Here.
What?
On your shoulders put this.
A knapsack? What am I carrying?
In it will I ride while you train your body, while you train your mind.
All right. Master, Dagobah doesn't show up on any chart, and the instruments can't penetrate the cloud layer. How can that be?
My privacy do I value?
Now, where's my weapons belt? Oh, here. Got it.
Think you that you must have weapons? Bring them then, if you feel you must. Now, bend down, that onto your back I may climb.
Right. Up you go. Yoda, would you rather that I didn't take my weapons along?
No more questions! Come, the growing begins. The way of the Jedi. Tired are you, with Yoda on your back? Open yourself to the Force. Now run. Run! Stop. Stop here. Be still for a moment, young Skywalker.
All that exercise, and I'm still not tired out. I must be doing it right.
Yes. A Jedi's strength flows from the Force. Feel it. Contemplate it. But beware of the dark side.
The dark side. That's what won Vader over and made him murder my father.
If once down the dark path you start, forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will, as it did Obi-Wan's apprentice.
I see him in my dreams, and I think his name so often. Darth Vader. Is the dark side stronger?
No. Quicker, easier, more seductive.
How am I to know the good side from the bad?
You will know when you are calm, at peace, passive. The Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack.
Master, tell me why I can't use it so that I can go...
No. There's no why. Nothing more will I teach you today. Set me down.
But there's so much that I need to know so that I can...
Clear your mind of questions and set me down.
All right, here. Hi, R2. You've been watching after my gear, huh? I'll take it, thanks. Master, I'm gonna take R2 and recharge his power reserves. I'll be back in about...
What is it?
I don't know, there's something not right in this place. I feel cold. Master, please, look at me.
What do you sense?
Death. That cave there, under that tree, there's something I can't quite see.
That place is strong with the dark side. A domain of evil it is.
I can feel it. Almost smell it.
Into it. You must go.
But why?
Told you I have. There is no why.
What's in there?
Only what you take into the cave with you, Luke Skywalker.
All right. If you say so, I'll go.
Your weapons. You will not need them. Your blaster not, nor your lightsaber.
What?
You will not need them. But yours is the decision.
I think... I'll keep them with me. R2, stay here. I'll be back. Who's here? Answer me. I know you're here. I can feel it. Show yourself. You. Well, why don't you say something? You know who I am, don't you? I'm Ben Kenobi's friend. Skywalker's son! Come on! Stand your ground! Vader. His face. When the mask fell away.
What?
It was mine. Vader's face was mine.
Think. Feel. Calmly. Focus yourself. And all other things will come to you. What said I to you?
You said that what was in the cave was only what I took in with me.
Yes.
Oh, but what have I learned?
You must say.
My enemy's face. My enemy's face is my own.
Across the gulfs of interstellar space, Luke's friends are about to come into terrible danger. Darth Vader prepares to strike in the name of Imperial tyranny. But no battle is more fierce than the one raging within Luke Skywalker as he faces the trials and perils of the way of the Jedi. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back by Brian Daley, based on characters and situations created by George Lucas. Featured in the cast were Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, John Lithgow as Yoda, and Brock Peters as Darth Vader. Also heard were Bernard Behrens, Paul Hecht, and David Rasche. This is Ken Hiller. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back was directed by John Madden with Tom Vagley. Sound design for Lucasfilm by Ben Burt. Music by John Williams. Casting and production coordination by Mel Sarr. The executive producer was John Boss. Post-production was realized at Studio M in St. Paul on the 3M digital mastering system by Tom Vagley.